Sup everyone, it's nice to finally be back and upload another ARG analysis video, huh? Gotta get them views up somehow. Anyhow, tonight's video is a very special one. Why so? Well, the series I'm covering, Enderlop, was requested by the creator. Now normally I wouldn't cover something that a requester has made, but after looking at the channel and seeing how it is another ARG based on Helptale, much like Help is on the way, I decided to give it a shot. Before we start, I do want to say that my first time experience with Enderlop was actually unintentional. When I first found the Unused series, it was back when there was only 2 episodes, and at the end of the second video, YouTube, for whatever reason, autoplayed to the first episode of Enderlop, and let's just say that I was really confused at first. But now, after watching the entire series, I'm still confused. I would also like to shout out X again for lending his voice to this video. A link to his channel is down below. And like always stated, if you want to see what you're missing out on in these videos, please go directly support the Enderlop channel. Link is down below. Anywho, one last thing before we start. I want to thank everyone who came out to the 3rd Mud Juggernog Fan Club meetup. The turnout keeps getting larger and larger. Now we can finally begin by looking at the first episode of the series, Aqueduct. The description for this video reads, gameplay footage. I'm not sure anyone else has found this yet. Who knew a whole new game was hidden behind seemingly random actions? It almost reminds me of the old L is real 2401 hoax. Now take note of that L is real line, it will come into play later. Our series begins as any Undertale series would begin, with our old pal Frisk lying face first on the ground. Checking the stats reveals that Frisk's name is actually whatever that is. I have been told by the creator that people refer to them as Frisp, so we will go with that. Their level is Omega, so they must be strong as fuck. After facelessly walking over towards the deserted gate, we see— oh god damn! That scared me. Fuck. After that jump scare, we now see Frisk in the distorted ruins, creepy music and all. Despite it all, you feel no regret. What could this mean? What could there be no regrets over? I do have an idea as to what this could mean, but that will come later. Much like Help is on the way, there is a strong glaceiR in the series. Perhaps we will see her later? Before leaving the room, we can see in the corner that damn bird that jump scared me, but Frisk doesn't see it. Behind. Oh fuck, run! What the fuck? Since when could you do that? Just how powerful is this Frisk character, huh? It's also interesting to note how the water here is white, like a certain substance. Milk. Why is there milk flowing in the ruins? We better get an answer for this. I wonder if it's whole milk. Anyways, after climbing out, the camera pans over to a familiar flower character. With this, Frisk makes her way over, where a battle starts and the video ends. Despite being only a minute and a half long, this has been one crazy ass introduction. Before we move on, I want to return to the description, mainly the line about how a whole new game was hidden behind random actions. What did the player possibly do to unlock this fucked up version of the tale? I'm not entirely sure. Well, guess now all we can do is move on to the next episode, titled Snag. The description for this video reads, I guess it's all True Lab themed now? A bit of an odd secret, but I'm really excited to see what happens in this version of the game. The video starts right where the last left off, but we are now in a fight against Flowey. Oh, did I say Flowey? I meant he's. He's what? Fucked up looking? We can tell, brah. It seems like they want to give Frisk a gift, but they ain't falling for it. Eventually, the player chooses the pluck option, where this happens. Well, that was easy. After felling the wretched beast, we can notice something shining. Something sparkles within the remains. You got the help. Another thing to take note of, as this help thing plays an important role to the series. After this, Frisk equips the Snag and walks on over to the right, where the video ends. With this, we will move on to the next episode. Question. Here the description reads, this one has me stumped. I was wondering if any of you knows what the answer might be. Well, they call me the master puzzler solver for a reason. The video starts where the last left off, a staple of the series, since all the videos flow together, so I won't mention it going forward. With Frisk entering a new save area, when color becomes space and is split in 3. Look within channels to find the key. Seems like the Riddler's on the loose in the ruins. Take note of this, Andrew, as it is a clue for an upcoming puzzle. After saving, Frisk hops onto the Milk River Ferry, and as we enter a new area, the music changes slightly. But then, we're fighting a fucking river. Babbling Blook, huh? Sounds like Napstablook. Wait a minute. The music that has the sound font in Napstablook's fight. The name of the river. Do you mean to tell me that all the water in the ruins is actually just one big Napstablook? Holy moly. And here I was thinking that it was all just a dairy product. Damn. Turns out the name is actually Babstabrook, and it seems that the player needs to tell it the key to be let through. After selecting the quiz option, we are met with this screen right as the video ends. Now let's pause and take a gander. I give up. Wait a minute. Remember the sign at the beginning? Let's go back to what it said. When color becomes space and is split in 3, look within channels to find the key. That has to relate to those colors showing up there. And it does actually. What we have to do is something called subpixel text coding. This website can explain it better than I can. What is the answer? Well, we will see in the next episode, conveniently titled Answer. The description here reads, "Special thanks to Longboost for figuring out the answer to the Bastardbrook puzzle. I couldn't have done it without you." I have a community Discord now. I put the link in a community post, but just in case you missed it, I will leave a link down below to that Discord, along with mine, teehee. Since I was told by the creator that the Discord features elements that are important to the lore of the series, such as this conversation. The server was also a big help for me in terms of the secrets and how the puzzles are solved, so shout out to all of them for being so helpful. Anyways, the video starts with the puzzle from the previous video, where the answer is divert. After inputting it, Frisk begins to make their way towards the exit. Holy crap, is that the thing from Temple Run? After that dramatic battle, the player saves the game and makes their way over to a rather creepy room. It's too dark to see anything. Something crawled into your pocket. Ew! Well, I guess it was just the classic spider don't, and not something scarier like a banana spider. After this, Frisk makes their way upward, where the video ends. But did you hear the strange noise that was playing in the dark room? Well, if you have any ARG experience, then you would know that the best thing to do with that spooky audio is putting it through a spectrogram. And of course, when you do so, a secret message is revealed. We can see you now. Be there soon. Oh crap. Who will be here soon? Hopefully this will be answered soon. But now we move on to the 5th episode, Jitters. The description here reads, "Color me surprised. Honestly, I didn't think Toby would be bold enough to give her the true lab treatment, but here we are. Apologies for the long wait. I haven't been feeling the best lately. I hope you all can understand." Who gets this supposed true lab treatment? You don't think it could possibly be... The video starts with Frisk walking down a hallway, where we see a giant mass of whatever the hell that is. Now I do have confirmation from the creator that what we are seeing there is all the monsters of the ruins combined into one. Now where have we seen that before? It seems irritated by your presence. Well, sorry bro, damn. Now Frisk enters a hole in the wall, where it leads to a long thin hallway. Walking down, we hear the cry of that familiar beast. Oh shit, Frisk, run! It's getting closer! Well, we are now in for a fight, seemingly against Toriel's severed head. Damn it, why must Toriel suffer so much? Sorry, did I say Toriel? I meant Butterscotch. Same thing, really. Now, I'm skipping ahead here, but I wanted to point out this flavor text. You tell her a story about a human who frees monster kind. It seems she has already heard it. Now the reason why I'm pointing this out is because I think it ties into what I think the story is about, but more on that later. As the battle continues, we move swiftly onto the next video, Failure. Here the description reads, "Since I took so long to upload the previous video, I thought maybe I'd record some gameplay footage early. Speaking of yesterday, I decided to try to learn Morse code on Friday. I haven't quite fully memorized all the letters, but it's still fun to learn new things." Now you might be asking yourself, Morse code? What does that have to do with anything? Well, you will see, Andrew! Just have some patience. The video resumes the fight, and what is interesting is that despite being low on health, the spider don't won't let the player heal. I guess it is called a spider don't, and not a spider let. But as the health begins to glow, this happens. In a last-ditch attempt to save your own life, you hurl the help at Butterscotch. But something was missing. You won! Here the video ends. Man, I know I've talked about a Helptail based ARG before, but why must Toriel always suffer such a bitter end? 'Tis truly unfair. Let's get some Fs in the comment box below. It seems like the help couldn't really help Toriel in the end. Guess that's why the episode is titled as such. I guess you could view the help more as something that can put these monsters out of their misery, of mice and men style. Now remember the mentioning of Morse code? Well, if you're paying close attention, did you notice how Toriel would blink and move her jaw in an inconsistent way? Now, what if I told you that this was actually Morse code, with the eyes being dots and jaws being dashes? The code translates to, almost there, 33RDDWJJ. The weird stuff at the end is actually tied to a tiny URL link, where it leads to a file called a dream.txt, where it reads,
Have you ever had a dream where it felt like you were walking in slow motion? Running from something behind you, but the air around you won't cooperate? Have you ever had a dream where it felt like you were being watched? Something unseen around every corner, yet you know for a fact that it's there? It wasn't a dream, I swear. Have you ever had a dream that you could you want them to do you so much you could do anything?
Interesting to say the least. This is another thing that I believe ties into the story of this ARG, but again, more on that later. Now, we move on to episode 7, Realization. Here the description reads, as suggested, I took a look at the help's item description. The video starts with the player doing what the description says. Help's description simply reads, it isn't glowing anymore. Well, that's helpful. Now we see Frisp in the area of pillars and switches, with the area covered in what seems to be Napstablook faces. Rust holds the spikes firmly in place. Well, that's what happens when you have iron spikes but an aluminum base. Whoever built these puzzles really needs to understand their metallurgy more. Thankfully, the other set of spikes are missing, so Frisp is able to proceed into the next area, where we get my favorite scene of the series thus far. It's much worse than you thought. I love this scene, because it is simple yet so effective at showing just how fucked the situation is for Frisp and the underground in general. If we go off of help tail logic, then we can infer that there are so many Napstablooks melted down that it has flooded the entirety of the ruins. The visuals here are also really nice, so 10 points. Here the video ends. Guess what we have to do now? That's right, find the hidden treasure. Nah, I'm just kidding. We're gonna watch the next video, stupid. Episode 8, Plaques. Reads here description though. Apologies for the long wait. I've been busy with the Enderlop community Minecraft server, so I haven't had much time to play actual Enderlop. I hope you enjoy this video. You can expect frequent uploads to return relatively soon. Now from what I've been told, the server is also another element important to the ARG, but I don't have Minecraft so I can't help out much there. Minecraft. But if you want more info, you can always take a gander in the official Enderlop Discord server. The video starts with Frisp trying to take the knife, however, it appears to just be a painted image. It may be a bit on the nose, but I feel like this little scene shows how there is an illusion of choice present in the series. It seems like the player had no choice but to kill Flowey to get the help, and it seems like the only way to progress, except for Napstabrook, is to use the help, even though it isn't really helping anyone. Just a thought. Anyways, the player makes their way over to a familiar tree, although it appears rather distorted from its original look. Heading over to the plaques on the wall, the first one is seemingly broken, but the next one reads out, that. As it turns out, the 4 and the question marks in the 481Q1GPZ are connected. Apparently, using a progressive Caesar cipher, the 4 and question marks becomes 479N7BJS, which is another tiny URL link. And inputting it downloads a folder to your PC, and in that folder lies the manual for the game. We will take a look at it later, so save it to your save for later folder. Andrew! Before the video ends, this happens. Bro, how is Frisp able to do all this? Well, time to see what the inside of the house looks like in the next episode. Homesick. I never even read Homestuck, why am I referencing it? Description. Well, here we are, the end of the ruins. Honestly, I'm surprised at how well these videos have been received. Thanks to everyone who has subscribed, and thanks to everyone who has been watching these videos. Here's to a, hopefully better, new year. Well, this year has certainly been anything but we have more pressing topics to worry about, such as the inside of the house, which we can see is rather blue. Now, for all my House of Leaves heads out there, I did ask the creator if the home being blue was a reference to House of Leaves, and I'm sad to report back that it is not. Oh well. It looks like you will need a key to progress. You don't say! Heading over to the living room, we see, oh, fuck. It's best to leave it alone for now. Yeah, I wasn't planning on going near it. I guess now we know the whereabouts of Toriel's body, but why didn't it vanish when Toriel's head turned to dust? Questions for the future, I guess. Now we see Frisp head over to the other hallway. See that giant mass there? I was told by the creator that it is up to viewer interpretation as to what that black mass could be. It could be a giant mess of stuff, or as I like to see it, a big comical bite taken out of the home. It seems like there isn't a bedroom anymore, but it said one iconic key. You got the- I go, what the fuck is that? As Frisk walks out, we can really notice the dust falling from the house's sky, or as I like to call it, the ceiling. Well shit, it seems that you didn't need a key after all. You're telling me. I guess Toriel's body still lives on. It moves fast as fuck too. We see another subpixel text thingy, although I'm not sure if it has been solved yet or what it leads to. Oops! Now the player makes their way out of the ruins, where the bitrate becomes absolutely fucked. Thanks, YouTube! Eventually, we see the end of the ruins, with the door slightly open. As Frisk walks out and closes the door, the video ends. Before we move on, I want to talk about a realization I had when I was making this video. In Undertale, Toriel describes the ruins as catacombs, which are passages that are used primarily for burial, meaning that catacombs can be considered places of death. And what do we see in the ruins in this series and in others? Quite a bit of death. I just thought it would be an interesting factoid to share with the class. Now, we move on to the next video, Lump. The description simply reads, "And we're back." Damn right we are! The video starts with Frisk outside the ruins, where we can see footprints leading into a hole, where a bush should be. Remember the footprints in the home? We can definitely guesstimate that Toriel's body fell down here. Checking the inventory, we can see the full name in the key, that being Eigengrau key. Eigengrau is German for intrinsic gray, and is the color that the eyes see when opened in a dark room. Wie interessant. The key is also described as potentially being important, and that it has to be. Why is the game so focused on this key? Perhaps it will be explained in a future upload? As Frisk goes down the beaten path, their path is blocked by trees. After turning around, we see— EW! What the fuck is that?! As this nasty version of Sans approaches, we get another favorite scene of mine. Bro, I would just love to see a fight between Frisk and Frisk, especially if Frisk is able to just do crazy shit like this. Honestly, Sans deserves it. Before we move on to the last episode of the series so far, do you see the trees here? It turns out it's actually binary code, and when translated it says 9VXSS9YJ, which is yet another tiny URL code. It leads to an image of a Discord conversation between two people. Well, let's take a look, shall we?
Alright, enough. We need to talk about you.
About what?
About the fact that you haven't left your place in like a month?
I haven't? I could have sworn I went out to get groceries only yesterday.
Sure doesn't seem like it. I haven't seen you in like a month, dude.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You sounded pretty bad when we talked earlier. Are you even eating that much?
Am I eating food? Yes, I am eating food.
And just how much do you have left?
Hold on, let me check. Dude, what the heck? Did you steal all my food? How did you get into my apartment?
You're being weird. I would have called if I wanted to get into your apartment. You're probably going through what's left in your kitchen at this point.
That doesn't make sense. I got groceries only yesterday. I can't be dealing with this. I have a mystery to solve. Everyone is counting on me.
And there it comes again. The mystery. Your copy of the game is messing with you. Even I wouldn't be this deep into something like this.
You don't understand. It's important. I'm important now because of it.
What's more important to you? This game you can come back to at any time, or yourself? Who cares if it's important if you become a total shut-in?
Shut up. I have to solve it. If I don't solve it first, someone else will, and I won't be important anymore.
Who is this someone else? As far as I know, you and I are the only ones who know how you got this to happen in the first place. Speaking of, that machine is just gone now in my copy. I don't know what happened.
It must be because it wants me to solve it, not you. It wants me to solve it. 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 So it seems that only the player and this Yoshi feller know how the player was able to get this version of the game. But what exactly is this machine? Well, if you look back at Yoshi's messages in the Discord server, it is exactly revealed as to what the machine is.
I was in the middle of a pacifist run, right? I was interacting with the machine in Sans' secret area over and over, and I think that might have been what did it, but I'm not sure. All I know is that the machine in my copy of the game is gone.
Now, people have their theories as to what this machine could be, but in terms of this ARG, perhaps it is linked to everything going on. What if the mystery voice from the spectrogram used this machine? Another mystery that will hopefully be solved. In terms of the conversation, I believe that it tells us about what the ARG is truly about. but we shall soon discuss that, so hold your horses, Andrew! Now we move on to the last episode of the series at the time of writing, Lump 2. The original description is rather odd, as you can see here, but I think it's supposed to read as, well, the game crashed on me, sorry about that. Hey, at least I managed to record all of it. Although the original description is presented in a weird way, it is done so for a reason, but I will explain why later, so take note of that, Andrew! That's no way to greet an old pal. For you, Sans, I think it's fitting. Oh, did I say Sans? I meant to say Lump. Now this video mainly focuses on the fight between Frisp and Lump, and like I always champion in my videos, you can go watch the original videos for yourself to see what you're missing. After Sans' hand gets Chris Dreamered, this happens. The help glows faintly from within your pocket. A Windows 7 error sound, truly frightening yet nostalgic. Well, I guess that's currently everything. Goodbye. Nah, I'm just playing. We have quite a bit to cover. Remember the manual I talked about at the end of episode 8? Well, let's take a gander at it first, shall we? The first page is normal. Nothing wrong with that. But the next page is... yeah, rather odd, ain't it? At least the third page is normal. Let's read what it says.
Long ago, 2 races ruled Earth, humans and monsters. But you already knew that. After countless attempts, you've truly reached the absolute. However, you weren't content to leave it be. Now, something has changed, and you'll do anything to get to the bottom of it.
Remember the flavor text I pointed out in the Toriel fight? What if the detailed Toriel losing her head is a metaphor for what the player is experiencing, as it does seem like they are losing their mind? The next few pages are... yeah, but the next pages after do have more text, where it reads...
Curiosity. It seems so innocent. I would know. I felt its pull once too. One day you're looking for Luigi, and the next you're green in the face, drowning in your bathtub. Remember, it wants you to keep looking. There is nothing for you to find here.
Ah, not the eyeball attack! Oh, that's it? It's not actually. There's a secret message in the 12th page, where it says...
Curiosity kills us all.
Don't forget the cat. Now if you go back to the messages and up the contrast, you will see those spooky ass eyes. You can also see them in the credits image. I think Toby Fox should credit himself like this, honestly. Maybe this pair of eyes could be the one behind the episode 4 spectrogram message, and the disappearance of the machine from Yoshi's game. Do you also remember the dream text back in episode 6? Perhaps these eyes are what the player feels are watching, but just can't quite see them. What do y'all think? Now before we move on to what I think the ARG is truly about, there's one last secret to talk about. Remember back to the description of episode 11? If you take the first letter of every line in the description and input it as a tiny URL link, you're presented with this spooky image of 2 doors. But that's not all. If you make it so the 2 doors are lined up perfectly by offsetting the image and removing the color from the image, a secret message is revealed to us. Let's take a look.
Didn't I tell you to stop looking? Do you really wish to drown in shallow water? I told you, there is no mystery. It's all an illusion spun by that blasted anglerfish. If you don't want to end up green in the face, you'll stop. The player's beyond saving. I hope you aren't too.
Well, fuck. I think we can safely infer that this is more text from the mystery voice of the manual. Just what are we being warned of? Are we in danger too, much like the player? Well, I shall now finally discuss what I believe this ARG is truly about. I believe that the Enderlop ARG is about obsession. Obsession and addiction are similar, but no one has really talked about how bad an obsession can really be. After all, the O in OCD stands for obsessive. But what makes me think that this is what the series is about? Let's go back to that Discord conversation. I think we can infer that the player is the one who has grown obsessed over this game, based on the fact that they can't keep track of time and aren't eating as much, if at all. Obviously, if someone is obsessed with something, they will dedicate all their time to it. That's a given. But what happens if an obsession goes too far? Again, like we see in the conversation, the player seemingly believes that everyone is counting on them to solve some sort of mystery, and that the game itself wants the player to solve it, almost as if the game spoke to them. Remember the save point text in the first episode? Perhaps the line about no regret could be in reference that the player feels no regret in what they are doing. Let's move on to the text in the manual and of episode 11. The main theme of the text is curiosity. We could definitely tell that the player is curious about the game and obsesses over trying to solve its mystery. But like the text also states, It seems as if one can go from being innocently curious about something to dying because of a developed obsession. Who is this voice? Perhaps it is a previous victim of an obsession, and if we go off of the text, their obsession focused on the whole L is real thing, but this is more of a hunch if anything. Also, with the manual, let's think about it for a second. The uploader is presenting everything as some sort of secretly unlocked thing from Undertale. The base Undertale game doesn't have a manual. However, the demo for the game does, and as you can see, both appear pretty similar, minus all the redacted info and spooky text. But why would the player's base game of Undertale include a manual based on the one for the demo? Perhaps it is just another medium for this voice to try to communicate to the player, and to all of us in the audience. For the Ender manual, I do believe that page 3 really hits the hammer on the face in terms of how the player became the way that they did. The player is really familiar with Undertale, and after doing something to change the game into what it is now, the player was curious at first as to what the changes bring, but now that slight curiosity has grown into a complete mental takeover obsession, and they'll do anything to solve whatever the mystery is. Going back again to the Discord conversation, the player mentions how they are apparently now important because of this mystery, and that if they don't solve it, then they won't be important anymore. Perhaps the deeper meaning of the obsession isn't necessarily solving the mystery of this game, but rather the player's obsession with feeling and being perceived as an important person. The text about the player being beyond saving is another detail that I hope feels confirm all my feelings about the player. However, the last line really stuck out to me. It's almost as if the voice here is warning us, the viewers, not to become obsessive like the player has. And like the hidden text says at the end of the manual, curiosity kills us all. And that's it. Thanks for watching. This video was a real doozy to make. I actually had to get off my lazy ass for once to make this video. I again want to thank the creator of the series for letting me cover their series, and for helping out with some of the ARG info, and for providing me with the original video files. Oh, and if you're watching, say hi to Rabbit Gale for me. Thanks again to DeathX for doing more voice work, and to the Enderlop Discord server for also being a big help in terms of describing how the puzzles were solved and whatnot. Without y'all, I wouldn't have been able to make this video as it is now. As said before, links to everything will be provided down below. Until we meet again, see y'all later, and goodbye, goodbye, goodbye!